Sir, my CEO would be joining in some time. So give me about 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, we wait for 5 minutes. I think some people also think that they're joining.
Oh,
Slightly late, right? Apologies for all those who are actually on time.
okay.
Yeah.
Lavanya, I joined.
Sorry, my
I
CEO
joined.
has joined. Yeah, sir. I just checked.
Hi, good afternoon. This is Anil, CEO AP Innovation.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
Okay, so I think 3:10, maybe another couple of minutes, and we should start. I'll sort of set the broad agenda for the call. We'll probably start off with a simple debrief about the workshop, right? This will build up on the workshop that we had in Bangalore about a couple of months back, where we had promised to sort of do a monthly connect, right? Then we will have, let's say, Tripura, one of the states who unfortunately could not present or was not available for the Bangalore workshop, to present for the next maybe 15-20 minutes after I have kind of given a wrap up of the Bangalore workshop. And then we want to sort of take your views to do two things. One, this is the first connect, right? How can we sort of keep this more engaging, right? So some views from the group, right? And also, the other thing that we want to do, a lot of states had, in the meantime, had reached out to us, right? So some of the support that they may require from NITI, from central government, from other mentor states, right? We'll try to capture that so that we build a structure to this entire program, both the virtual connect and physical sort of workshops that we intend to do in 2024, right? So that's the broad agenda, right? I'll quickly take my 10 minutes to give a debrief and a wrap up, right? So the slide talks about what we sort of achieved during Bangalore workshop, right? So 28 states participated, around 50 plus participants, 8 ministries were there. Then we had expert sessions, case study talks, some brainstorming where all of you got together in a room, built some strategy. We could present a brief snapshot of that strategy here as well. Right, then we go on, went on to look at the current state of ecosystem in Bangalore through the incubator ecosystem visit. And finally, we sort of build some strategy, right? And now is the time where we want to sort of start implementing the strategy. Now, this slide basically captures what we have entered into that simple sheet, right? The bigger the size, the more number of people wanted, let's say, startup in that. Technology, healthcare stand out as the two biggest. But we also were quite surprised to find, let's say, e-commerce, manufacturing, food processing. In fact, some of this was coming from some of the smaller states and northeast states as well, where they talked about all of this, right? Education came up as something, agriculture came up, another one, electronics, machine learning. And if you look at some of the other ones, the renewable energy service sector, these are small niche sectors where some evolved states and some sort of evolving states wanted sort of inputs or let's say build startups in these sectors. Right. Next slide. Right. Now, what we try to capture is essentially bucketed the entire country into 4 different buckets. So large states, medium states, small UTs and sort of city states, and then talk about the hilly and the northeast states because the requirement would be very different. And we sort of clubbed together in some synthesis about it. So bucketed around strategy, finance, infrastructure, and enablers. So if you look at the larger states, right, because some of this is already sort of achieved some basic stuff, right? So the strategy is more on sort of sustenance, so linkage, for example, education, so trickling down from top to even the grassroots, right? Focus more on training the incubation managers, right? And building some incentives to commercialize or maybe scale up the startups. On the financing side, they wanted more engagement with the HNIs and angel investors because the pool of startups has slightly become bigger now. They want to also build up differentiated financing sources for these startups, right? On the infrastructure side, they have some technology centers, but they now are again, as I said, looking more at teachers, the human capital side of it, right, rather than physical infrastructure, right? The other thing is creation of more design thinking lab, ideation specific lab. So maybe going up slightly up in the entire sort of value chain. On the enablers, it's more on fostering interaction and build this network right further to sort of evolve their existing startups and take it to the next level. Building a stronger partnership and collaboration with industries, academia, etc. Next slide, right? These are some of the, I will not call these small states, but this is essentially states where they still need slightly more, let's say, moving towards larger value chain in terms of scalability, sustenance of these. So they still have certain startups, right? But they want to maybe commercialize more startups, right? So the strategy here is more on outreach and mentoring program, sector-specific human capital development, looking at startup policies and incubation support. So some of the states have startup policies. They now want to also work upon building more evolved to a few sector or a few industries. On the finance, they want money to be invested both from within these states, and also the idea is to tap, for example, this comes from Kerala, where they want to tap more on money from native Malayalis who are outside India, right, to sort of invest into the ecosystem of Kerala. On the infrastructure, the focus is more on grassroots and last-mile connectivity. So most of these states, if you look at, there is a startup hub at one city. They want to sort of scale it up to multiple cities, involve more districts into this, and maybe set up more hubs of innovation for district level, right? At an enabler, the idea is tie up with local industry. So they want to sort of, as I said, more enabling the existing startups to go to the next level and sort of build scalability and commercialization of their sort of startups, right? Some of them is already happening, but another thing that really came up during this entire discussion was Fab Labs and sector-specific centers of excellence, right? Which could be very specific to a particular sector, right? Now, this is specifically to hill and northeastern states, right? So it's essentially primarily in northeast Uttarakhand and Himachal, right? On the strategic piece, they wanted more of ATL than EDC, right? Because they felt that education could be an enabler and more of hackathons, innovation challenges. So some of these states require probably a lot more handholding than maybe the other two buckets that we just presented. On the finance side, they want to sort of evolve and interact more with the VC funds, tax breaks and incentives, and then some of them is coming up in their state-specific policy. Some is also coming up from the center's policy, and then CSR fund for incubators. On the infrastructure side, they want to build specialized innovation hubs and labs, cluster-based approach. So some northeastern states clearly mentioned that the entire state should be divided into 2 or 3 different clusters where people can be specific to a particular cluster, right? More on grassroots and district level innovation infrastructure. Because right now, for most of these states, the innovation infrastructure or startup infrastructure is limited to one city. And if I may add, the capital city. So, right. On the enablers, right, this is more on building networking needs, trade fairs, and I'll talk a lot more about this as I talk about the way forward, right? Last is the city states. After city states and UTs, right? Essentially, so the challenge with most of these states and JNK and Ladakh are sort of new additions because they became UTs some time ago, is that most of them are very small in terms of area, right? So the idea on the strategy side, they want to institutionalize and build certain specific programs, do faculty development programs, entrepreneurship mindset, on the finance side, more on sensitization programs, creation of specific funds, and build sort of differentiated financing models depending on where they are located. For example, Goa could be very different from, let's say, Delhi, could be very different from, let's say, actually for Andaman, right? They also were looking at establishment of co-working space and sort of micro incubators, so not full-fledged incubators, micro incubators, right? On the enablers, the idea was more on getting the financials and building the pitch, getting the VCs and getting the pitching events, corporate connect programs. So whichever corporates have a presence, for example, in Goa, in Jammu and Kashmir, right? Utilize that and build that network with the academia as well as these corporates present. Right. Next two slide I'll not drain. I'll probably just, if you go to the next slide, right. This is essentially the synthesis, right? Some of these states had actually talked about what is the best practice. So the idea of the entire peer-to-peer learning workshop was to probably learn from other states, right? Some of it was learning for us as well, right? So I'll not drain this slide, but if I take maybe a couple of examples, right? So Punjab is actually doing and creating innovation councils across its different sort of parts of the state. Meghalaya is launching missions such as Mushroom Mission, Langdong Mission, 0% food processing loan. So very, very specific through the CM Elevate program, very specific to agri and stuff that is locally available. Right. Bihar, for example, is building on policies on agriculture promotion, industrial skill development mission. Odisha, for example, is doing encouragement of setting up sector-specific incubators, sector-specific innovation challenges and hackathons, right? An evolved state like Andhra is maybe partnering, this scope is the previous slide, partnering with, is it the previous one? Yeah, partnering with IDEX, Sport Trust, because again, they want to build very, very specific. So this is essentially the best practices, and we share the deck with the larger audience as well, right? So that, or maybe we could create a link somewhere up in the cloud where you could just download these presentations and best practices as and when it's required, right? Next slide. The other slide talks about the innovation-focused best practices, right? For example, Delhi is focusing more on electronic manufacturing because of the small size of the state. They want to sort of focus more on the electronic because it's slightly higher up in the value chain. And MP focuses more on MSMEs, for example. Andaman is identifying very, very sector specific to provide local jobs, right? Local for vocal, for example. Jharkhand is trying to set up robots and set up to monitor ATL and sector specific modules, where this is like the industry and the academia can sort of converge together, right? So I'll leave it at here. This is more on the synthesis. We're also sort of building a report from the workshop. But any quick question that anybody has, questions, clarifications, feedback?
Yeah, hi, Himanshu. This is Anil, CEO AIP Innovation Society.
Yes,
Yeah, I think what you are just showing us is like, trying to do the peer learning kind of thing. So, coming from each other's success and then things like that. So, probably I think maybe if you put a time frame, like, every 3 months or something of that sorts, if you can come out with a bulletin or magazine kind of thing, so that like understand what each other are doing.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Like,
To be fair to you, sir, there is one slide towards the end of the presentation where we've actually asked people what they want. So two questions, right? Essentially, what kind of support they want from NITI, central government, and second, what should be the flow of these monthly connects? Do we want us or one state to present best practices? Do you want external? So there's one slide that we actually kept there, right? We because we wanted not us to sort of force. We wanted what states want and us to work backwards towards that. But this is exactly the point that I and the team here were discussing, that we should ideally have a quarterly newsletter, right? Maybe one of the states could take the lead in being the editor, for example. So write the editorial for that, right? We could call for nomination of people with best practices letters. And in fact, not only keep it limited to let's say the government guys, maybe some incubators could come up with something which is very innovative that is happening, or maybe some startup is doing a great thing in a particular state, highlight that particular thing. So that's the entire thing. So just wait for maybe another 15 to 20 minutes, right? And we'll come to that slide, right? But
Yeah.
any other questions before I hand it over to Tripura to maybe run us through what?
And one more thing from my side is on the policy, because I think already Startup India had written to us, all the states, I believe. So they're also helping us out in, like, I mean, AP had a first policy initially way back in 2016-17. And after that, it fitted out, and then now we have become part of the IT policy. So we shared our document and the right rating on it, and we are working, like, I mean, combinedly. So we already had 1-2 sessions because they're written from the secretary DPIT, it has come to the secretary IT here.
Okay.
So probably combined effort is put in, then, like, I mean, the best practices can be put, and then, as you said, like, I mean, as you structured it out really well, the strategy, finance, then enablers and the infrastructure. Probably the best practices of all the things, if it is circulated to all the enablers and players here, it
Yes.
becomes a very good practice.
Yes.
Thank
So,
you.
so what we intend to do, right? Our license has expired. We're just getting the new license. We'll create a folder, right, on the drive, OneDrive itself, right? So that if somebody who is looking for something, right, which was presented 2 years ago, he need not sort of reach out to somebody in the group to share, right? Because fundamentally, we believe that this is, and when people start seeing value, they will start contributing. It's like a two-way street. Right? If you sort of take something out of that database, you will be sort of indirectly obliged to put up as well because you sort of gain from it. So we will be very open about it. We'll share the report and the links here in the group. Give us maybe about 15, 20 days for the license to get renewed, and all the pictures, everything will go up, right? In fact, I shared a link where I want people to actually update their phone number and email ID so that, see, we just want to be the connectors, right? If there's something that is asked out of us or we need to get involved, we would get involved. But there are a lot of stuff where people can directly, for example, somebody in Manipur can, or Tripura, for example, Tripura will be presenting their IT case study. Maybe they want to reach out to somebody in Telangana, for example, right?
Yeah.
And hey, you are slightly ahead in the curve, right? How do we start building? Right? So that's the idea, right? So if states would start supporting each other, right? I think we would have done our bit in this entire journey.
Thank you, Hemant.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, sir. This is Narottam Sahu from Gujarat Council on Science and Technology, Gandhinagar.
Yes, sir.
Actually, we are happy to be a part of this BC. And our concern is like that in Gujarat, we have 800 plus Atal Tinkering Lab. And as the state council or a department of science and technology, we are getting lots of queries and the questions from the each district, because each district we have our community science center network.
Correct.
And we have a very strong network and activities every day or alternate day. So this coordinators of this Atal Tinkering Lab, they are raising their query that how to revive the activities and also to add some new things, so that it should be, and how they have to be coordinated in through I think a regionalized region wise or state wise, so that they can get the direct directives of the Atal Tinkering Mission, AIM Innovation Mission, and they can have a guided roadmap or activity plan also.
Okay.
Because the other part is that the mentors, those who are list is there in the website and the list also, so they are not getting time, and this it and the mentor time and school time is also not matching with this thing. So as the schools are now entering to the examinations season, like February, March would be there. Now we are planning to how best we can use this Atal Tinkering Labs in all 800 plus schools in Gujarat or in other places also during the summer vacation, like May, June, July, August.
Okay.
Thank
Got
you.
it. Got it. So you want us to help you in sort of replicating this or building, let's say, all that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So it's an okay. Got your point.
Something like we can organize a get together, matlab a camp type of things where we can call all the coordinators or teachers of this Atal Tinkering Lab, and we can have a 2-3 days training program or some sort of warm up sessions, so that everybody should be charged. It is not like that it is all the kids are on the cupboard and all the teachers are in the back mode.
Oh, got it, got it. It's a good idea. Sir, to be fair, Atal Tinkering Lab as a program is run by Dipali and team. So if you could just drop in an email to me, I will connect you with Dipali, right? And maybe then we can jointly plan that, right? Maybe we could set up a call, right, where she could share her views and her best practices of what other states are doing on the 18 program. And mesh that together to come up with something that is of value add to all the Gujarat schools, and maybe it could be showcased as a good sort of a learning for other schools as well, or other states as well.
And the second question is like that, what about the way we discussed in the Bangalore meeting? Now we have our state district network in every districts. Now we
Sure.
have taken it as like a innovation club to in some extent to scout the local local problems with the local startups, students or engineering, polytechnic, ITI students like this thing, so that we can go to the T3 or T4 areas, cities, and the taluka level to scouting of that thing. So that for that also we have from the department, we have put up some sort of new item in our state budget, and it is we are getting approved that we can have some sort of that STEM lab or a STEM club type of platform where we can, through that thing we can scout out the local STI. For that thing we also need your kind collaborations and kind guidance, so that the system can be, we have both the system is on line, as well as we got the government's formal approval also for taking the this startup program to the lower rural areas and rural cities in the state.
Sure, sure. Sure. We just write in an email, and maybe we could work something together on that as well, right?
Sure.
Sure.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Sir.
Thanks.
Any other thoughts before I hand it over to Tripura? Cool. Naresh sir, you are there on the call?
Yes, 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 Himanshu, I am here.
Yeah. So we'll be sharing screen. Sir, you can share the screen yourself, sir.
Yeah, I will share.
Just introduce yourself to the larger group as well, and then maybe we could take it from there.
Yeah, it's visible, right?
Yes, sir. It's available.
Yeah. Good afternoon, all, and the team Niti for giving this opportunity for the state northeastern side, that to Tripura, regarding to present the initiatives we have taken to make Tripura environment for startups and innovation. Myself, Dr. Naresh, and I am Director IT. Just I will take about the Tripura. Tripura, as we all know, the strategically located and based on the central government Arctist policy, like we are strategically located, and compared to many other states, we are having a very good environment and also a peaceful land order situation. And Tripura is the state which having a power surplus because of the gas availability. We are gas based power availability, and tariff is also compared to many other major cities. We are having a very the power surplus with low power tariff. This is an advantage for Tripura, because most of the people are not aware, like in the northeast we are having a power surplus, and there are many advantages as such Tripura as a state, like abundance of natural resources, and because of the strategic location, and it will going to be a gateway to northeast Southeast Asian countries. And the proactive government initiative after 2018 to encourage student entrepreneurs and like startups. The government has taken many initiatives like the ease of doing business and single window portals for like clearances. These are all the initiatives taken by the government, making the Tripura as advantageous for entrepreneurship development in the state. And another side, like we are having a high literacy rate with a very good skilled manpower availability. And recently we also started, because Maitri Setu between India and Bangladesh, there is a Maitri Setu is opening. Near to that, we are opening. We are notified a special economic zone. And as a state, we are having a very beautiful places that is having a very high potential of tourism. And another, since as northeastern state, we are having a abundance of agri-based industries, like scope for agri-based industry like pineapple, rubber. That we as a state second in the country in rubber production. And renewal, Tripura is a state is having a high potential, high CVX index, means solar energy conversion potential is very high in case of Tripura because of this location near to Tropic of Cancer. These are all the advantages is making Tripura to harness the energy for using some innovative technologies to making people to take up the entrepreneurship. With this, government of Tripura, IT department is the nodal for startups and innovation in Tripura, and we have initiated certain schemes and policies to encourage the IT companies and the different IT sector companies. We are having IT startup scheme, the 2019 we have started, and another thing, the another innovation thing, which is next generation innovation network, as another scheme for student entrepreneurship. And for promotion of IT industries, we are having ITS policy. And Northeast, many few, only few states are having the data center policy. Tripura is having, in Northeast, Tripura is also having a data center policy, which we notified in 2021, where we're going to encourage, because of the power availability, because of the land and all, we have given, and we are access to third international internet gateway, that is Cox Bazar. By considering this, we have notified the data center policy to promote any data center industries to want to set up their industries in Tripura. And among the Northeast, there is a second state in Northeast, we are having a STPI presence with the 2 IT parks, and we are having a startup venture capital, because Northeast, we are the first state to have a state-owned venture capital, and we are having a council, startup council, to assess the requirement and suggesting the policy changes for both innovation and startups in Tripura. First, let me take through the Tripura startup scheme, what the incentives we are giving, how we are following, because there are many states, as in the Imanshu rightly pointed out, we have started recently, in 2018-19 itself, we have started thinking about startups and startup scheme and encouraging entrepreneurship in Northeast. With this, in 2019, we have come up with this scheme, where first there are at present 86 startups has been recognized by DPIIT portal. Among them, some of the startups were registered there, they will come and apply for us in our startup council. We're going to assess this, and we are having a Tripura startup council is comprising of stakeholders from all the areas, the academic and the representations from industries, representations, academic, all the representations will representatives will analyze, and they will identify there is a scope of innovation or scope of commercialization. Then based on that, we'll recognize that startup. After recognizing the startup, we are having a we're going to give facilities from ideation to till commercialization. We are having a set of schemes or the programs from ideation to incubation to proof of concept, then to market support to the venture capital. These type, for in all the steps, there is a scheme or there is a program to encourage startups to grow into a commercially viable entrepreneur. As preferential market access, we are giving mentorship support, we are building using NASCOM, and ease of doing, they are accessible to ease of doing business. We are having a single window portal where 68 services which are required for an entrepreneur is available in a single window, and it's a statutory law has been placed and to provide all the required licenses within a time bound manner. And we are providing support for participation in the different various workshops, and even international workshops also we are facilitating. And for the incentives which we are providing, for the patenting, for filing a patent, both national and international, we are giving incentive for patent cost, and power tariff, we are reimbursing for 100% for the startup who have recognized the proof of concept. If they are able to convince, our startup council will give up to seed fund of 10 lakh rupees as a grant. And recruitment assistant initial, when they show the ideation is there is a potential, we are going to give what 1 to 1.5 lakh rupees for the recruitment assistance. And further, we are give bandwidth, and as an incubation facility, we will provide immediately after recognition, we will provide an incubation facility. From there, we will get all other facilities which are available in an incubator. Other activities in the within the startup scheme we are taking, there is a single window portal for each startup will have their own page, and they can apply for incentives, and they can raise a query. Everything can be done through a single window portal. And there is a dedicated startup cell. We have created 3 to 4 people, and they will identify, assess the requirement based on the requirement of the startups and uh, the other stakeholders. We are organizing like physical and virtual workshops in association with NASCOM. We more than 100 different virtual and physical workshops we are organized for making our startups and the startup to build startup ecosystem in Tripura. One dedicated incubation center is also there, like within Software Technology Park we have opened. And, this is how we are making the Tripura so in a nascent stage to bringing to cultivate innovation and to make the Tripura as an ecosystem for startups. Like our startups, whatever we have recognized, more than 24 startups we have already recognized among 84, 86 which are there in DPIIT, and they are participating in different international expos and with their product. And the one of our start like Ilagitran, which is having the product, they have iSync and Steady Table is another. They are participated in different expos, international and national expos. And another important thing, as a state, we have felt that like any startup who have come up with their product, if they're able to apply into the government system, like they should give some preferential support through use cases. Like one of our career bichar, there is a app where they will going to give a skilling and upgradation of skilling. We made a facilitation to make them MOU with the Directorate of Skill. Another one, education startup, like they are having an app, and that we have made an MOU with the education department. That is how we are connecting or making our startups to give their products to our state departments, and thereby it will going to giving their like initial sustain like infrastructure, not only infrastructure, the market access, the preferential market access they are getting, and they are becoming sustainable and they are growing forward. And another our startups which are recognized startups have been identified in different like Chonoti STPI 2.1, like one of two our startups has been recognized. They have got a funding support. And one of our startup Haran they have been featured in Netflix. And Google has recognized the Talking, which is a like English learning app. Then the other different startups who have been associated with us, they have been recognized in different arena. This is mainly I told about the existing startups and start recognition and the giving mentorship to the ideation to like market support and making them a successful entrepreneurs. Now we found like there is a requirement of entrepreneurship building, like instead of like our with the vision of job seeker to job giver. That intention, we have started a new generation innovation network scheme, mainly to create an ecosystem to promote innovation in educational institutions and support student projects financially, and to encourage students and research scholars to identify an ideas or problems to solve a existing problem, and to create intercollege network of incubation facility to convert idea into a commercial value. With all these objective, we have come up with this new generation innovation network scheme, mainly for student entrepreneurship development. Here we are concentrating on two things. One is a development of incubation centers in the network in the education institution, mainly higher education institutions, and making the student to take up commercial value products based on the problems to solve the problems. We are making the students to take the problems for projects related to solve a problem, and thereby they can make a commercial value. By deriving the commercial value, we are encouraging the students projects. With the process, like institute will apply to us as again the startup council, and startup council will assess the requirement whether they are prepared. And if the institutions is not prepared, and we are giving a proper training to, because most of the time the education institutions itself, like their faculty itself, they're not that orientation towards entrepreneurship is not we felt there is a lack in taking up the entrepreneurship. Like we have conducted many workshops among these higher education institutes to build their capacity first, and based on that we have constituted institute level committees. After that, we have recognized these startups for the incubation centers. Then we have given an incubation centers for them. After giving the incubation centers, and we have provided continuously, we have conducted the workshops, mentorship and technical support. Initially for the these startups, like incubation center, we have given the funding support to have the specific, because we are having a institutions like NIT to agriculture colleges. These incubation centers are sector specific. Like agriculture college will have an incubation center for the agriculture students. But sometimes like another major objective is like the students of agriculture may require, or NIT may require to take the facilities of agriculture college, the incubation facility they can access and they can take, because some of the uh, like some of the facilities which are available in one college may be taken by the students of other college. That is a major objective, because we are building a incubation network worth of, like each college may invest some 10 to 15 or 20 lakh, but ultimately as a incubation network, it is a worth of more than 2-3 crore worth of infrastructure will be available for students. Since it is like Tripura is a small state, we can't have a like 2 crore incubation center specific. Like we, with this we are building a incubation network where students, different college students can access the different incubation networks based on the suitability. Like and further we are conducting different workshops where the students of IT, they are picking a problems of agriculture to solve by applying IT. Like this is another way we are making the students, because of the workshops, inter college workshops and NGN workshops we are conducting every once in a 3 months, and national state level we are conducting once in year. Based on that, this is how it is being shared. Like ultimately, these are the activities of the incubation network which is being happened. And another within this, we are encouraging students to take up a student projects which are having commercial value. And again, institute level committee will scrutiny and screening and again startup, it will be placed before the startup council, and we're going to fund these student projects with a 1 lakh rupees initially. Once these students have been funded, like we'll provide continuous support through the mentors. NASCOM is there, and there are many other like even Assam Manipal University, Atal Innovation uh, Atal Innovation come Assam Manipal University, that also we are utilizing their facility, and we are providing the mentoring support to the students. And based on that, like some of the students who are registered as a company, like now student to startup, like there are more than 35 as of now. We have recognized 35 student projects we have funded. Among the 35, like two student projects have converted into startup. They have registered as a company, and now they will going to be converted. They have converted as a startups. Once they will be converted as a startups, and again they will be recognized through our startup scheme, where we're going to provide all the incentives which are available through our startup scheme of Tripura. Like once these startup students to the startup, and then for the market support and to the commercialization, we are having a fund, that is Tripura Venture Capital Fund, mainly for gap funding, like risk capital to the potential startups, because initial they have passed from the ideation to proof of concept, then to expand their business to next level. For that they required some potential, like they required a fund. The Tripura is the one state in Northeast, among the first state in Northeast, we are having our own state venture capital fund, where this is fund is being managed by SEDBI Venture Capital Limited, and it's a total corpus of 50 crore. And the ticket size, it's varying from 25 lakh to 2 crore, where like investment committee meetings are happening, and continuously 2 meetings has been done, and they have finalized the 5 startups were shortlisted. Again, this Tripura Venture Capital, it is not only specific to IT, it is a sector agnostic. Any startup who are recognized by DPAIT and like the state, who are having a potential in expanding, like we're going to provide them with the risk capital. Like the five who are like shortlisted, like talking, grow sale, steady table, Illegitron, these are the bamboo wala. These are all the five startups we are shortlisted and to for funding through our venture capital. We have by considering this, we have taken certain future initiatives like development of IT parks, like mainly to encourage once these people will grow and they require some built-in space. For that, like we are planning to have IT parks and the incubation come lab, like try up, like we are planning to have like one-stop solution with all facilities for testing the innovation, whatever their idea to like proof of concept, then to test everything. We are planning to build a Tripura startup hub that will going to be that is the we are already in starting MOU with one company. And now recently, as like Andhra Pradesh is raising, we also got our 2019 policy will going to be end, and we are planning to we are started stakeholder consultation has been done, and we are drafting a startup policy. It is a sector agnostic, and we have covered all the potential sectors including student entrepreneurship, and we have involved all the stakeholders, and we are also making provisions to come up with the sector specific incentive policies for like education different, and we are also included a component of innovation to be recognized. This is how we have like started to build our startup ecosystem in Tripura. Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, can I ask a question?
Yeah.
Sir, you mentioned about okay, I'm Lezo from Nagaland. So we are also a state incubation center, and we hope to become an ACIC. But my question was, when you build this fund with SIDBI, is there also a matching fund that comes from the government?
Yes. We from government side, we have given a 15 crore, like 15 crore from government side, and total size of the corpus is 50 crore, and to 15 crore from the state government side, and SIDBI as such they have contributed 5 crore, and SIDBI venture capital has given a matching contribution from both SIDBI and SIDBI venture capital. They have combinedly given 10 crore. We have given 15 crore, and we are trying to raise capital from different PSUs like Gale. We have returned to Gale. We have returned to ONGC.
So sir, this is so without the basic angel fund and all, it's moved directly to venture fund. Is that what has happened in Tripura? I just wanted to check because
Yes.
we also okay.
Yes.
All right.
We
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Lezo. Thanks. So moving forward, right? As a next step, right, post the Bangalore workshop, we intend to have this monthly connect every month, right? And we want to have a regional quarterly meets, right? So one for Northeast, one for North, one for East, one for West, one for South. And we want states to sort of anchor it, right? We'll probably float a small form asking for states to take required approvals for hosting this workshop. Small workshop, not the bigger one, but we want to involve more people in these workshops and more localized people. We would also want to sort of build these regional workshops and these monthly connects with your inputs. For example, if some Northeast wants to focus on specific aspects, the workshop will be tailor-made for that aspect, for the 7, 8 Northeastern states. All right. And once a year, as happened in November, we would intend to do an annual State UT Innovation Summit, similar to what we did in Bangalore, right? Most probably then October, November timelines is what we could sort of look at, right? So that's just to answer the question for people who are asking what's next after that, right? Next slide.
Somewhere. He's not joined here.
Yeah. So if all of you could just open this QR code, right? I'll also try to post this thing on the chat, right? This is a small thing that we want to actually check what do you want to sort of achieve through the workshops, right? What is your thing, right? So maybe you can just start logging it with this. You want to post the link? Is there?
Google Form kan.
Just share, we need to share the output screen.
This is Google Form.
Has Google Form. So the form essentially has broadly just captures your state, your email, which is mandatory, right? So we also checking with the group what is the name that you want to give to this monthly connect. We had given Charcha from our side, and if we look at what are the ideas, right? I'll just read out. So it's presentation by the states on the unique model, like Tripura did today. So maybe we could invite some other states in the next version. Do an expert study where it could be a sector based. Somebody may say, I want a pharma person to come and talk about the innovation there, right? Then it could be a domain based or a CSR initiative, or it could be connected and building something with the VCs, right, and networking, or it could be a panel discussion, small 50, 20, or it could be a mix of everything, right? Like lastly, I think what somebody had mentioned initially, right? We intend to have a quarterly thing, but we also want to capture the inputs from all of you. Let's just move on to the last part with it. So you guys fill this. We showed the result of this as well. Now this is what we want to want your inputs on. Just keep it in. What we want your inputs on this, just post this on the chat of the WebEx as well, of how you want to run this monthly connect, right? And we just
This is the
this is support. This is support. This is support that you want from NEETI, from this entire sort of initiative that we are running, right? Just post it, Garima, the link.
Post both the links on the group as well as on the chat.
Correct, correct. And if you could just when I open up.
You asked if Dr. Chintan is joined.
Chintan, sir, have you joined? Network mentoring.
Himanshu, this is Chintan. Can you all hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Yes, yes. Are we waiting for people to fill out the forms?
Yes.
Okay, so when we come back, I'll just say something. I'm still in
Okay.
the bus, but hopefully it's
Okay.
not too noisy.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, next.
Chintan sir, you can give the concluding remarks and your comments. Mr. Laram.
Okay, all right, great. Thank you so much. I was able to tune into the presentation, but did not turn on my speaker because I'm on this bus, which was very noisy. Uh, Fortunately, they stopped the movie right now, so it's better. But thank you so much. Yes, so very interesting to see Tripura's approach and progress and so on. So, and also many thanks for being the first presenter of this forum. Um, as those of you who are logged in and who were also in Bangalore, you know that we had committed to turning this into a forum where we can all have a conversation and take each of our regional, state, UT ecosystems forward. So I'm happy this is getting underway, and thanks to Himanshu and team who are pushing it from our side. So once again, thank you. Sorry I couldn't be very active on this call, but I will be around for uh, much of all of it. Okay, talk to you soon. Have a good weekend. Back to you, Himanshu.
Thank you, sir. I think last bit, it's already there in the form. If it's not, we'll probably add it, right? So, as I said, we would want to do these regional physical meets, right? So, virtual is good, but it's good to sort of have these regional connects. The idea is, for example, if we do the Northeast meet, right, we would want the incubator, some of the startups come and sort of share their best practices. And we would also want sort of external folks to come in, right? So I would sincerely request whoever is there, if you could respectively go back to your state hierarchies to sort of see if you could be one of the hosts in each of the quarters. So ideally, we want to do it once a quarter, if not once a quarter, at least once in 6 months. Right, in each of the regions, right? So we, any which ways, have sort of an in-principle agreement from a couple of states in Northeast. Right, so Northeast could be the first regional meet, right, which will happen in Northeast. And I'll work both with Nagaland and Tripura, which showed an interest, right, to build, and even Meghalaya, who's present here, to build and customize what you would require from this. It will not be a 3-day affair, right? Or it could be a 3-day affair, I don't know. Depends on what the states in that region want us, right? We just want to enable this and continue this peer-to-peer learning, right? So that's from my side. We'll have stuck to a 1 hour thing. We'll try to stick to 1 hour every time. But any last questions, comments, feedback, input for us to sort of improve this, make it more participative, interactive, and more learning for each of us. Yeah, form. Yeah, everybody should fill the form. Get others to also fill the form, right? But anybody wants to add any parting comment, questions, clarifications?
Manshu, nothing. It's a wonderfully curated one. We really liked interacting, and hopefully, as Chintan sir said, I think each state would be given an opportunity to present,
Yes.
so that we can case what's happening and then that peer learning can keep continuing, because as you said in the opening remarks, because AP is focusing on defense, sports, renewable energy, new sectors, and then each state has its own strengths. Like Tripura has its own strengths.
Yes.
So that interchange and exchange of ideas would happen in a seamless fashion. Thank you. Thank you for the wonderful organization.
Hopefully, you'll go back and sort of nominate AP as one of the regional hosts. It could be first quarter, it could be second, it could be third, right?
Yeah, right.
Sure. Anybody else before we close the call? Cool. No more questions. Thanks for everybody to join. Thanks everyone, and we continue this conversation in the future as well. Thank you.
Thank you.